If and when Prince William becomes King William V, it would be a grave mistake for him to cut ties with the Church of England. It would be an historic mistake, and it would be a mistake which I think he and everyone else would come to regret. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Following the release of Robert Hardman's book, it's been suggested that Prince William may cut ties with religion and become the first monarch in 5 centuries not to be the head of the Church of England. Although respectful of the institutions, Hardman notes that William is not a regular churchgoer and may choose to distance himself and his reign from the Church. But what implications might this decision have? And could Prince William be making a huge mistake in breaking from religion?
Prince William studied art and geography at St Andrews University. Had he studied politics and history, he would not be contemplating, if and when he becomes king, not becoming the supreme governor of the Church of England. A decision like that would be a huge mistake, and I'm sure there are wise courtiers around him who will advise him to put that completely out of its mind. This country, which is governed by an unwritten constitution, relies very heavily upon the Bill of Rights of 1689, the Glorious Revolution, and the Act of Settlement of 1701, which followed it. And that guaranteed, first of all, the limitation of the rights of the Crown, but also made sure that there would be a Protestant succession. In other words, every king or queen would be a Protestant. Now, that is very closely linked to the Church of England, the established religion of this country, under which all the other religions are allowed to flourish and are encouraged to flourish. As Supreme Governor of the Church of England, Prince William would have an important role to play, and it doesn't depend upon his lack of faith or his observance at church. It's an important role because it is the titular head of the Church of England, which is central to the life of this country. People don't go around in this country talking a lot about religion and their faith, but the fact that the Church of England is there and it's the established religion has helped this country to develop in the way it has, as a liberal, law-abiding country under the rule of law, a democracy. So to mess about with that sort of magic, if you will, is a big mistake. As we understand it, Prince William is a Christian. He believes in God, but he is less observant than his grandmother, the late Queen Elizabeth II, and his father, King Charles III. Religion was very central to the late Queen's life, and Prince Charles, as he was, now King Charles, has always had a very strong spiritual side to his life. Prince William feels this less so. In that sense, he's more in keeping with the ordinary people of this country. He goes to church at Christmas and Easter, and he's sincere about that, but he is not somebody who is very observant, not a regular churchgoer, but that applies to the vast majority of the population. That should not rule him out in any way whatsoever from being the supreme governor of the Church of England. It's important for him to keep that symbolically, and unwise to think of any other change in the constitution, because it is important to the daily lives of our country. When and if King William is crowned as King William V, he will not be making his coronation vows and being anointed. He won't be making those to the government of the day or the people. He'll be making them to God. That's why King Charles III insisted very strongly on having all the bells and whistles of the recent coronation in May 2023, because it is the relationship that the British monarch has with God, the divine right of kings, if you will. And that is important. And that's a contract which lasts until the end of the reign, until the last breath of the monarch, and the new reign begins. It is central to the life of Britain that the monarch is a Christian monarch, a Protestant monarch, and that is something that has been of tremendous benefit to the country and the way it's developed over the years. The powers of the crown have been limited and limited and limited, but it's still an important factor in the life of this country. It goes back to King Henry VIII, the one with the 6 wives that we all know about. He was declared defender of the faith by the Pope in Rome, but he split with Rome. He split with the Church of Rome. It was an early form of Brexit, if you like. It was the British people saying, we don't want anybody outside this country, any foreigners, any people abroad, messing about with the lives of these precious islands of ours. And that has continued to this day. And throughout the Industrial Revolution, the Age of Enlightenment, which precedes it, and to this present day, the Protestant faith has been a very valuable asset to this country and the way it's developed. And indeed, that's been recognized by the many, many, many people who've come here from all sorts of religions and backgrounds and found a happy home here where they've prospered and indeed have brought benefits to the country. It is indeed true that numbers attending the Church of England services have dwindled over the years, but it is still an important part of our life. It sets the tone in many parts of the country, and people who are not even observant churchgoers like the fact that there is a priest, a vicar there saying prayers almost on their behalf. And many, many people love and cherish the churches which are central to every community throughout the country. So you don't have to be a Protestant, you don't have to be a Christian, you don't have to be any belief at all to actually see the value that the culture, the cultural side of religion has brought to our country and is central to everything we do. Our morality, the way we treat each other, the way we speak to each other, the way we are, our laws are all underpinned by Judeo-Christian morality. And that is, you cannot overestimate the importance of that. It would be most unwise for Prince William, should he become king in due course, to consider stepping away from his historic role as Supreme Governor of the Church of England. I don't believe that the courtiers around him would ever advise him to do so. It would be wrong and it would not be helpful. What would happen would be that there would still be an Episcopalian church, the Church of England, a church which has a worldwide reach. And who would step into the breach? Well, one presumes it would be the Archbishop of Canterbury of the day. Now, of course, there have been good archbishops of Canterbury, there have been poor archbishops of Canterbury, and there have been archbishops of Canterbury who should never have been appointed. But none of those categories would compare with the prestige, the historical clout, if you will, that the British monarch brings as the supreme governor of the Church of England. And it's under that umbrella of the established church that life in this country carries on. It's why we have laws. It's why we have protections for groups of people. It's all based upon Judeo-Christian morality, which goes way back to the Bible. It's why we don't have people, or we don't allow people to commit crimes against women, against children, against each other. These things are fundamental. If you start messing about with them too much, you're going to become a cropper. And I'm quite sure that Prince William, when he becomes king, will have thought this through and will have been well advised and to go nowhere near it. Historically, it's important that the king remains the head of the Church of England. The Church of England is a worldwide Episcopalian church. It has many adherents in America and in all the countries of the Commonwealth. And over the years and over the centuries, it's done a tremendous amount of work. To use an old cliche, if you will, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and leave it as it was. And I'm quite sure when he really considers the matter fully and has the implications of such a move talked through to him, Prince William will not go there.